developers who are likely to come and invest there, the UPSRTC, which will be benefiting immensely, and the people also, they will have quality services and retail shops, etc., available uh, uh, in those places. Now, I suppose you know till now no firm response has come from developer, and I suppose they may have certain apprehensions in their mind. So we'll have a question and answer session also post this moderation thing, and we'll be taking up a couple of questions from you. Uh, Now I would like, with this kind of forward, I'll be asking Rajaji back to take the mic and initiate the moderation thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for laying out the format and the intent of the government. So, as sir has said, the intent is to get feedback from the developers. But before we go on to that, what I wanted to do was that I just wanted to play back some of the key points of the PPP transaction and the way we have the key parameters of that. So I will quickly run you through a presentation to kind of refresh in everybody's minds the key aspects of this transaction and the key parameters and how it has been modeled, the bid process, etc. And post which we will then proceed on to the question answer session. So what is the bidding schedule as it stands right now? The documents were uploaded on the 19th of March in 2020 in the e-tender portal, and right now the bid submission date is 15th of October 2020. My apologies. Actually, the power got cut in my place, so I'm apologies for that. I suppose things happen when you least expect it to happen. Am I audible now, or?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. So, so as it stands now, it is due on the 15th of October. And in case there are any modifications to that date, that will be communicated later. What are the major highlights of the updated bid document? So, as compared to the earlier construct, there has been a decision has been taken to reduce the annual concession fee. It is 1% of the circle rate of the base year, and the latest circular rates, whatever was available, has also been shared, and that will be escalated by a composite price index, which is a combination of the WPI as well as the CPI. And for the construction period, the payment of the ACF has been waived off. The earlier construct had an equity stake lock-in for the entire period of the concession, but that has been also removed. That has been relaxed. So the equity stake dilution can happen 5 years post the COD of the commercial complex. On the property tax, for the bus terminals, that will be paid by the authority UPSRTC, while the property tax for the commercial complex which is the main revenue stream of the concessionaire, will have to be borne by the concessionaire. And to increase participation, there was a request that we had received during the pre-bid on inclusion of other sectors, which also has been considered favorably. And power and mining has also been included, as well as multi-level car parking has also been included under the transport sector. The other aspects are on the tenure of the independent engineer. There was a request saying that the tenure of the independent engineer need not be there for the entire concession period, and it should be only during the construction period. So that has also been considered, and the tenure of the independent engineer will be 2 years post the COD of the commercial complex, not for the entire concession period. The rate notification by the concessionaire, there are many activities on which it has been very clearly specified where the concessionaire can actually levy charges, and where some of the facilities which are very basic for the bus terminal have to be provided for free. So that has also been very clearly laid down, so that it's very, very clear right from the first day onwards what are the revenues avenues for the concessionaire, and what are the obligatory things from a perspective of the basic amenities at a bus terminal that are required. The sites will be provided unencumbered. There are a few sites in which there are ongoing operations, and so every effort has been made to see to it that the construction happens without any disturbance. And so that is also been specifically taken care of. And on security, the responsibility, roles and responsibilities have been very clearly laid down in the documents, and the applicability of the construction period will be from the appointed date. So these are some of the key highlights of the updated bid documents. As an illustration of the bid procedure, because there are multiple sites that have been bid out simultaneously, the thought process here is that the bidders need to have an ability to leverage the net worth that they have fully. And the illustration here shows you how that will happen. So let us say that there is an estimated cost of around 200 crores for a project. The minimum net worth is required as 60 crores. Now, if a bidder has a net worth of 100 crores, and the bids will be opened in the descending order of the estimated cost of the construction of the projects. And if the bidder is successful for this project, then for the next project, the bidder A will have 100 minus 60, 40 crores of net worth left for the next site that bidder A has bid for. In case bidder A is not the selected bidder for the first site, then the entire 100 crores will be intact for the future sites that the bidder has shown interest in and submitted their bids for. So in this way, the thought process here and the intent here is to allow developers to maximize the use of the net worth, and to enable them to bid for multiple projects on the basis of the net worth that they have. What is the bid submission process? So there is both a physical as well as an offline process. So on the physical process, there will be an RFQ submission, which will be just one envelope, which has the document fees, the bid security, and the applicable forms and attachments. And the second envelope will have the RFP submissions, which will be separate for each and every site. So in the offline, this is the procedure to be followed. In the online one, the RFQ submission has to be uploaded on each site for each site, but the document is the same, because in the offline there is one RFQ document, while the construct of the portal is such that the RFQ will have to be uploaded for each site, but the document itself will actually be the same. And of course, the financial bid has to be uploaded for each site separately. Some of the other important details is that the effort has been made to share multiple pieces of information so that the bidders and developers can take a very informed decision. So on the e-tender portal, the uploaded documents are the RFP, RFQ, and DCA, all the corrigendums. For all the pre-bid queries, there is not a single pre-bid query that has been left unanswered. For each one of them, there has been a diligence right at the senior most level in the UP government, and very considered replies to each and every query has been offered. And that has also been point-wise been uploaded. On the website of UPSRTC, the project information memorandum has also been uploaded for each and every site. And there are also videos that have been uploaded on the site of UPSRTC So in case due to the pandemic, people are not able to travel, you can actually look at those videos to get a very good sense of what's existing on the sites right now. And the present circle rates have been given. However, the diligence will have to be done by each and individual bidder to find out what the latest circle rates are. But from the authorities side, that has also been provided on the basis of whatever latest has been collected, and that has also been shared on the UPSRTC's website. These are some of the steps here. I'll not go through them. Maybe I'll just pause for 10 seconds for all the audience to just have a quick look at it. It just shows the method of downloading the bid documents. And so I'll just pause for 10 seconds right now so that you can just look at it. And in case you want to make notes, you can do so. For if any site visits are required, these are phone numbers from UPSRTC who will facilitate that. And as I said, it is during the pandemic might be difficult for a few of you to do that. And for that, the videos have been uploaded. But in case you do want to, then these are the numbers. I would request if you could note them down, and you could also, send in your queries. Send your requests to visit these sites. And finally, if you have any queries post this webinar, post this interaction, if you still have any queries, I would request that we have given the contact number as well as the email ID. So by 5 p.m. today, if you could send in your feedback in case whatever you're able to ask right now, and in case you're not able to because of shortage of time or any other reason, then please do send your queries to the email ID which has been mentioned here, which is ppp.busstationup2017@gmail.com. So with this, I'll pause, and I will now request the moderator to explain how we will conduct the interactive session. Kushag, can you explain?
Good afternoon, participants. So the moderating session will be as follows. You are required to raise your hand, and the instructions for raising hand are as follows. You click on participants, which is down in the panel below you. There's a list of participants that will open to your right. Scroll down and you will get an option of raise hand button. Once you raise your hand, we'll acknowledge that you've asked a question. We will ask you to unmute. You can ask your questions. Please limit them to 1 or 2 questions for the paucity of time. Then we will allow our panelists to answer the question. We will put you back on mute if you don't do that yourself.
Thank you. So I would request that whoever wants to ask a question, please use this button of raise your hand so that we know whom to unmute, so that one person can then ask a question at a time.
I'll just repeat the instructions. The participants can click on the participants tab below. There's a list which opens. Go down and see that there's a small button called raise hand. You can raise hand to ask questions.
So I'm just doing that as an illustration. So if you see, my hand is raised, and then I lower my hand. So if you click on participants, then you get that option. I would request, just at the bottom of your screen, you have the option of participants, and I would request